segment we're going to try out. This is Nerd News Now. So we realize that you guys don't have the ability to go through every single Twitter, Facebook post, all the news that there is in the universe to just cull the stuff you actually want to know, which is about comic books, video games, movies, and all the other cool nerd stuff that's out there. So we're going to try to focus it in for you guys and give you guys super up-to-date stuff. So this is stuff that just happened or dropped today or maybe as long as this week. So, and we're going to make sure that you guys are in the know all the time. All right, so we've got our main knowledge base. You guys who know all the good nerdy stuff with us today. So
use that term loosely. Yeah.
So this
Which
is
term
Ashford.
knowledge?
Yeah, this is Ashford Wright.
I'm Ashford Wright. Hello, guys.
What's your nerd cred?
My nerd cred, yeah, it sounds like gatekeeping what you're doing there. But, I know some things about DC Comics and Doctor Who. I want to make a Silver Spoons reference. I know a lot of 80s television. Modern day, that's when I kind of teeter off, but that's part of my nerd cred.
That's right. I don't want to say, I guess nerd cred isn't good. It's, what is your focus?
Your passion.
What is your...
What's my passion?
Expertise.
Master of none.
That's right.
Yeah. Not the television show, just that's my skill set.
And this is Mark Blair.
I'm actually an expert on the Netflix series Master of None.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, it's the same. Born in the late 70s, so I don't remember life until the 80s. G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man, all that stereotypical 80s boy type stuff. But also just a love for comics, a love for sports, any kind of interweavingness of popular culture. Big on movies, both classic and new. And indie music is my music of choice. And I heard that once you turn 30, that your music choice does not change.
I'm someone where when I turned 17, I've been stuck in the 90s and I never left. And any modern music I listen to right now, it has 90s sensibilities to it. But
You're
I'm also
an old soul.
I'm an old soul.
So you were probably 30 when you were 17, but I'm just saying whatever age you turn 30 at, your music choice is not going to change.
I believe in that.
I still prefer early hip hop, so
Oh yeah,
it's true.
Yeah. But having said that, since we grew up in the 80s, a lot of the television shows and movies were 60s based. So a lot of Vietnam movies, the
true.
Wonder Years. So I'm into a lot of 60s music. I'm just kind of into music in general too. So that's part of my nerd cred too, is indie music and just the love of music. But I see we have a list right here that we want to talk about as far as nerd news now.
All right, so today I saw the crazy news drop that, and talking about retro things, pinball machines have really progressed a long way. And Marvel has announced a partnership with a cool pinball company, and they're going to do a pinball machine for Deadpool, which has 3 levels of coolness and 3 levels of the amount of money you can spend. It's $6,000 to $9,000 for the different versions. And they have collectible things that go along with them, collectible... Okay, you guys are freaking about this. They have... The most expensive version comes with an LP.
Oh, wow. So long play, 12-inch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 12-inch vinyl, record player.
Yeah, and it has taco trucks that are part of it. But I guess it's the machine itself, the graphics that are they're focused on are 8-bit technology look.
Yeah. Except
for when Deadpool breaks the fourth wall and he shows up in full 3D, more realistic version of himself.
And this is on a pinball machine? Something tangible? 3D version.
I don't know if the screen converts into an actual screen.
Yeah.
I haven't seen images of it. I've only heard the cool news about it.
And if you're 8 years old or 14, I apologize that people our age are steady inundating you with our stuff. You got to keep seeing Transformer movies and you're being threatened that there might be a He-Man movie and just all these things where we won't let it go because our parents, they, Army Men were popular and playing jacks, that was popular, but they didn't force that on me and I definitely didn't play it. but like we won't let our stuff go. And I don't want you to let this stuff go because then we wouldn't have a show. But I'm just saying, like, man, you guys don't stand a chance. I mean, even like the music and stuff, like it just all these TV shows, throwbacks to the 80s and the 90s, like we're just inundating you with all that stuff.
Mark, do you have a favorite pinball machine?
I actually prefer the Doctor Who one, and Ashford's a big fan of Doctor Who, as am I. But that is a good one, and you know you can keep transitioning from Doctor to Doctor up until I believe maybe Sylvester McCoy is the last one.
Yeah, because I remember you brought that up. That was Sylvester McCoy.
Doctor, but that one's cool, and then Twilight Zone. So basically, all the ones that are based on all the shows that I like. But speaking, so you said Deadpool comes with a vinyl record?
Yeah, so it's like the most, like the premium version of it, which is the $9,000 one, comes with an LP.
Some people are going to spend that $9,000 just to get that record. And speaking of, you're talking about being inundated with past technology, it's like vinyls are now selling more than CDs.
Yeah.
So, and when you go into a place like Urban Outfitters, now you see cassettes all over the place. At what point are we going to see 8-tracks at Hot Topic?
I will say this. The one thing about the vinyl record, that never went away. So after all these years, 80s, 90s, 2000s, DJs always preferred the vinyl. And I can see, you know, I don't want to get into it, but like if a band does an analog recording, you know, like what they tell you, it captures everything in the room, it's a beefier sound. So that's why the vinyl never went away. So I can see why that has always been around. And then with hipsters and all that stuff and bringing it back. But cassette tapes, there's no reason. Like if you try to...
There's no nostalgia sound.
It breaks.
The tape.
Well, it can break, you know, and then like the 8-track, that's my first memory ever. Is like at 1 or 2 years old, getting my hand stuck in an 8-track. It's kind of like a Nintendo, and it looked like a first-person shooter where I was like, whoa, like I understood that this is not good. My hand's stuck in there. So that's my first, like, I'm aware of myself memory, getting my hand stuck in an 8-track.
Just imagine what it was doing to the fragile tape.
Yeah. We need like an image somewhere where an image of an 8-track so people can understand what we're talking about.
I can remember me and my girlfriends playing The Devil Went Down to Georgia over and over again, but it takes a long time to like rewind to where you wanted to be on an 8-track. It's not like now where you just like skip to the next one. You had to like wait.
So, hey, thing about a vinyl record, the artwork and all that stuff, that's something you can't get with an MP3 download. What about this next item?
Okay, so I follow... That pen is just going to make you crazy.
Yeah.
Magdalena Visaggio, which she posted a question online I thought was worth talking about. Okay, so this is a Venom question. So Eddie Brock, when he has Venom that is like kind of like when it comes out of him and it becomes part of his body, his mouth is attached to Eddie Brock's mouth. So the question was, what happens to stuff that Venom eats? Does it then go into Eddie Brock?
Doesn't matter. I mean, in what context of the comic? I'm being literal, trying to figure out. Like, I don't know if I've come across and asked myself that question. And there's a lot of stuff in the Marvel universe that has to do with the pocket universe. Like Captain Marvel's cat, for example, has the tentacles that come out, and if grabs something, will pull it into its pocket universe. So what's happened is that person, they just live in the orange tabby the rest of their life? I don't know. Are either of you watching Cloak and Dagger on Freeform?
No, what about you?
It is excellent. Like, the season finale happened last week. It was awesome. And I think they're going to answer a similar question about the pocket universe or the void that Cloak has. No spoilers, but someone gets pulled into it, so I spoiled it. But
well, now we have to go watch it to find out what
I think
happens.
within Marvel, I think they set their own rules. So I don't know if there's anything that I've read in the comics where I could ever answer that question. But I would assume at some point the plant just keeps growing bigger and bigger and bigger until Seymour feeds it everybody. Oh wait, that's Little Shop of Horrors.
Scarlet Spider. I just wanted to add to the conversation.
Yeah.
So what about this Venom movie? We've seen the trailers for it, and I know I told Mark that I said, it looks like 80s horror, right?
Yeah. And and that's the angle they're going with. I mean, it's an October release. They're going to try to compete in the horror genre. And then the big news of the Morbius movie, starring 30 Seconds to Mars' Jared Leto, which I think much better fit than he was as the Joker. I mean, can we agree that was just awful? If not, I might have to walk off the set. What did y'all think of Jared Leto as the Joker?
Okay, so here, I was unsettled by him. It was mostly the looks that he gave to Harley like she was a piece of meat that he owned. I was not comfortable with that. I know that they have a messed up relationship, but for women that have been victims of really horrible relationships, that part was the unsettling part, that was like very clear in his eyes that he owned her and she was chill with it. That was not cool with me.
Yeah, I think they need to somehow undo that relationship or something. There's some weird things going on there. I'm someone where I'm not a big villain guy, so like a lot of people, they're into villains, but I will throw my friend Kevin Federkowski under the bus.
Uh-oh.
He's one of my old friends. I use his name and passwords and all that kind of stuff. Try to figure it out. But he's a Marvel guy, and he liked Jared Leto's interpretation because he liked the Joker being, I'm a leader of a gang. So it was kind of like he was a gang member, and I'm like the leader of the gang. But I also know that he's into like a story where it centers around the Joker, and I'm not really into that. So yeah, I'll say I didn't like it. I didn't like Suicide Squad.
But the other problem is his gang in the movie Suicide Squad was less intimidating than the Jets and the Sharks in West Side Story.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, if we're gonna go,
hey,
for that
the Jets
angle,
and the Sharks,
like,
dude. Hey, don't play around with them.
They can cut a side of beef.
They can.
Yeah.
But back to good. I can stay on set. We agree. Jared Leto's Joker was not her favorite, and I know what you mean about because it's a tumultuous relationship. So when you really think about it in real life, it doesn't work. But the way they did it, going back to Batman the animated series, like it worked if you just didn't think about it too hard. And it needs to be something like that. And I think on the rundown here is some Birds of Prey news. So we'll save going to this, but. When you said pull away from the Joker, I don't know if you read the news. We'll get to that in a second. But they're definitely going to do that with Harley Quinn. But back to Venom. So I think what they're trying to do is make horror a genre. Because Morbius the Living Vampire was first appearance, I think, was Amazing Spider-Man 101. And he has always been the anti-hero. Obviously a vampire, so he's got to suck blood. So there's all the conflict with that. Just in the same way as Eddie Brock has a lot of conflict with the symbiote, because the symbiote always wants to kill people, a la the miniseries Lethal Protector. Mm-hmm. And within that trailer, I think it's cool because we are confirmed to have probably 5 symbiotes at the least, if you really go down and do a screen-by-screenshot breakdown, but possibly no Carnage. So they do have something to make people look forward to. Now, here's a question about Venom. Is it mandatory for you guys to enjoy it to have a Spider-Man appearance in that movie?
Nope.
No.
I actually prefer not having one.
I think if you write a good script and it's great, and you're like, man, this movie was good. Oh, no, wait a minute. Spider-Man wasn't in it. That's not going to throw me off. Right?
The only thing that's been, and I watched all the Marvel stuff. I stopped on Runaways episode 5, Don't At Me. I couldn't stand it. But I will at some point try to watch it. It was Hulu's first shot. Maybe season 2 will get better. But I watch all the Marvel stuff, and the one thing that irks me is they always say they're going to tie it into each other, and they don't. So if they were to put Tom Holland in just a post-credit scene or something, at least I would have the assurance that, okay, you're not just trying to take this character Venom and take him out into his own universe to never be able to play in that whole Marvel sandbox. Because that's the only thing that annoys me is like it would have been so easy to take all 4 of those actors from all their respective Netflix ongoing series and put them in an Avengers 3 scene. Just one scene. Imagine if all the Defenders were back to back and 2 of them disappeared at the end of that movie. Simple stuff like that. And I know that there's all these contracts involved and the Fox-Disney merger is playing a big role in that. So everyone's sort of trying to figure out where they're going to land and how they're going to move going forward. But at the same time, it's like you own those characters now. Do it now.
I like that. Now, this is new to me, this Flash film in production early next year. Is this real?
Yep.
I don't mean to question you, but...
Confirmed today.
Okay.
Taken straight from someone that would actually know on the internet. But, yes. So, it's going to go forward. I know they've been thinking about it for a really long time. And that's all we have. We don't really know if they're using the same actor. We don't know what the storyline is. We don't know what the plot's going to be. But it's like, I thought it was worthy of mention that it has been greenlit.
So this is something interesting about The Flash. And then with DCEU, Warner Brothers, whatever, where I think they're pivoting again. Where it's like, oh, we don't like the direction we're going in, so let's move here. And one of the best ways to cheat it is with Flash, because he can do the thing where I'm running really, really fast, and then I accidentally ended up in 30 years from now.
Yep.
So when we saw Superman versus Batman, which might not matter anymore if they really want to pivot, there was a situation where Batman was at his workstation, I think he dozed off, and Flash just appeared in his out the TV screens. And if you look back at it, that Flash had a mustache. The costume was different. So I don't know if he's been messing around with time, and that might be an excuse to bring more characters over. Like, oh, I accidentally went to Earth 2, and I accidentally brought over like 47 different characters. So if there's a Justice League 2, it's like we're a crew of 90. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. So, but this Flash movie, and we talked beforehand, you didn't like his costume.
No.
Yeah, because nowadays, cosplayers around the corner, they can make a better costume than that Flash.
And I'm sure that the decisions they made in the design of the costume with the kind of the bungee wires in between make all the sense for the character. I'm sure it was well thought out, but on screen it looked a hot mess.
So, did you like the interpretation of the actor playing the Flash?
Ezra Miller?
Yes.
I like him as an actor. I thought... I just have not been won over by any of the DC movies other than Wonder Woman. So even in his small cameos, it's like, I get, he's supposed to be like comic relief, but I'm just not getting the depth of any of these characters in the DCU currently. And I'm not, I think I'm most excited for Shazam, and who knows if they're even going to have him touch any of the other Justice League characters, right? I mean, I would think that that's going to be sort of like a standoff thing to see if that lighter side could work. But it's just, whenever I'm watching a DCU movie, I just want to pause the film, go to set, and take off the 2 filters that they have over the camera. It's literally dark, and I don't understand why in this age of 4K television, why they think people want that. Don't we want bright, vibrant characters, especially when you're talking about comic books? I mean, it doesn't make any sense, but I'm going to give Ezra Miller a chance. I've seen him in things like Perks of Being a Wallflower. He's a really good actor. And so if the writing is good, but how many times do we start a conversation about a comic book movie about if the writing is good, ... It's like maybe they need to start paying the writers $20 million.
Yeah.
And along with the actors just to get a real script going. And also, DC still does not have a plan.
Yeah.
They're not ever going to compete with MCU. So maybe they're going to start branching off. It seems like from the moves they're making of not, again, I'm jumping ahead, but not putting Batgirl in the Birds of Prey movie, it seems like they're really trying to undercut the Bat family, maybe knock them out of it altogether.
We've got a bunch of stuff coming up, so let's talk about Batgirl. We've got, Batwoman. We have announcements that they finally cast that part, and that makes it super exciting to move forward. What do you guys know about it?
Well, let me just give you some information about Batwoman. So, in the early 40s or 50s or 60s, they had Batman and Robin, and they were prancing around or whatever. They're like, I think we need to give them some female counterparts, right? So they had a Batwoman and a Batgirl, and it was Betty Kane, not Barbara Gordon. And I hope I got that right, Betty Kane. And then they went away, and when they brought them back in Elegy, J.H. Williams, it's wonderful. Get that trade. That's one of the best comic book trades I've ever read as far as storytelling. It's called Elegy, and it's a Batwoman and a just great character. And a lot of times, that's one of those characters where it's okay, if we write for her, you got to bring your A game. All right, so usually storytelling with this character is good, and this character means a lot to a lot of folks because she's openly gay. It's a Jewish character. It's a lot going on. Like even in the books since like 2007 or whatever, even Batman, like he doesn't talk crazy to her. Right? So like I don't know what's going to happen on the television show, but I just hope they give it that same reverence, and I hope it's well executed. But I know you know a little bit about the actress and her background.
Well, her name is Ruby Rose. You'd be familiar with her if you've ever seen Orange is the New Black. She was on seasons 3 and 4. She's originally like an Australian DJ model, but she's come into the view of a lot of American audiences being in things like Pitch Perfect 3, John Wick Chapter 2, and a movie that I'm really not looking forward to, The Meg. The Meg. Have you guys seen?
I've seen
advertisements?
But it's Jason Statham in the ocean.
It is Jason Statham in the ocean, but it looks like half a step, I guess 2 steps up budget wise of a sci-fi movie. And when I say sci-fi, I mean to pronounce it that way. You don't go from sci-fi, SCIFI, all of a sudden overnight I'm changing channels, then it's SYFY. Who thought that up? The only thing I can think of was there was a science channel back then. Maybe they were using that abbreviation. But you're going to call yourself the Sci-Fi Network? I mean, that's why I can't name one show on that network right now. And don't at me. I know that there's a lot of fandoms out there.
The Expanse.
I'm taking a poli-sci class.
Yeah. So, but anyway, the Meg looks like that. I mean, it really... Now, is it summer fun? I hope so. I mean, I hope that people are getting their money's worth out of that. I have zero interest. I have a lot of interest in Ruby Rose playing Batwoman. I think it's important representation for that character because that character's representation is important. And I will be looking forward to that show. I believe that's the first mention of the Bat family in the Arrowverse, correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
Now,
unless we want to talk about Huntress, that was in a couple of episodes of Arrow.
That's right. But
this is...
And that was the Bertinelli version. So we have had Batman character. It'd be hard not to have a Batman character.
But think about this. We're getting Batwoman in CW before a Batman. So this is like supplanted, right?
Right. And, that's mostly because Gotham is on Fox right now. But I'm looking forward to the show. It's just... I feel... How many of the CW shows have you guys watched?
Okay, so remember I was talking about Arrow like nobody's business.
You're the one that got me to watch
I got you to watch it.
Seasons 1 was good, and Season 2 with Deathstroke was awesome. So, and then it just went...
And then Season 4 ran me out the room. I watched a little bit of I watched Season 1 and 2 of Flash, and that ran me out the room. So right now I'm not watching any of the CW shows. I saw 3 episodes of Supergirl. I liked it, but my time management skills are awful, so I jumped off of it. But I love the interpretation of how the actress is playing both Supergirl and her civilian side. So
I love that they have Martian Manhunter on there.
My favorite character.
But it always seems that seasons 1, 2, and maybe 3 are good, and then they just get fatigued. Like, I mean, everybody... I don't know if the writers are rotating... I know Berlanti is producing 7, 8, 28 shows right now. Riverdale is not really a comic show, but it's a comic show. And to me, Black Lightning was fantastic. And I hope people gave that a chance. But I can also see over time it's going to stagnate because things stagnate. And I wish they almost did borrowed a page from 90s anime where they're like, okay, we're going to do 2 seasons and we're done. Yeah. And just move on, and you want to break it up and to have these characters cross over because they do the big crossover events, which is cool, gets them ratings. But then after that, I mean, I just don't know how much brooding I can see Oliver Queen do for 26 episodes.
You have failed the city.
Right. And it's just... But that being said, I want Batwoman to succeed. It's going to be, the second female-driven show after Supergirl, so we'll see what happens.
All right. DC Universe, still Birds of Prey. We got to find out what the baddie is going to be. We got the Black Mask. I don't know anything about this character. Someone's got to help me.
Well, okay, every time I've read issues with the Black Mask in it, it's usually crime story driven. So I don't know the history of the character as far as where he comes from, but usually it's dealing with Arkham Asylum, and it's dealing with like gangsterism. So like no sci-fi, no science fiction, no sci-fi type stuff. Aliens and interdimensions. So I know from a Birds of Prey movie, I would like to see something grounded in street level. And with them saying like the villain is going to be Black Mask, that makes me go, okay, I think this is going to be street driven.
Oh, it will be.
Yeah.
Have you guys heard the synopsis now?
Yeah.
Check this out. The synopsis is, one, we're going back to the beginning of the show. Harley Quinn leaves Joker. Okay, so that's good and interesting, and maybe it's sort of like an apology to the audience, or like, hey, we messed this up, let's just kind of sweep this under the rug. There's no confirmation that Jared Leto will or will not be in the movie, so maybe there's a scene where she's like, I'm out, or maybe it just starts out like, maybe she's on Tinder or whatever, and we're like, okay, she's single now.
Yeah.
But the synopsis kind of reads, from my memory, is that Harley Quinn leaves the Joker. Then she teams up with Black Canary and the Huntress.
Helena Bertinelli.
Helena Bertinelli. There's a whole thing. But then those three go to rescue a young girl by the name of Cassandra Cain.
Yeah.
So that it's going to be very, very street level. And so this whole time, so Ashford and I do a podcast called Feathers and Foes. It's exclusively about Birds of Prey, so this is right up our alley. But the whole time we've been complaining that I can't believe they want to make a rated R movie, because it's this female empowerment movie driven by like all the best DC Universe female characters, or some of Don't At Me. And then they're going to make it rated R, and I've been confused this whole time. However, hearing that synopsis, now I think, okay, now you're making a point of a really gritty, like rescue movie, and now it all makes sense.
And to give you a little background about that, which this is, Mark and I, we do this Feathers and Foes Birds of Prey podcast, like you mentioned before, and we're going issue by issue, and now we're finally at issue 57 where Gail Simone jumps on, and in the future, Black Canary, she will save this kid named Sin. So in this movie, they're going to substitute the Sin character, put in Cassandra Cain, which I do a Cassandra Cain Batgirl podcast. And yeah, I mean, I was telling you, the only way I would want a Birds of Prey movie to be rated R, that script better be Oscar worthy. Otherwise, like, why is it rated R? Why would you cuss? Yeah. Why would it be nudity? Why would it do that stuff? We don't need a head chopped off. But if you're doing something where, no, it merits a rated R because we're going to be adult about it, then, I mean, we'll see. We'll see.
All right. Last topic. This is less timely because it's been out in play for a little while, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit. So DC is, like Marvel, starting their own digital streaming service. What do you guys have any inside information? Have you heard about it? Are you excited about it? What do you want out of it?
I know it was a big thing about Robin saying the F word or whatever. They play that at Comic-Con. There were a lot of jokes about that with the Titans. I'm hoping, there's some guys in Australia that do a Doom Patrol podcast, and I'm hoping for them.
Episode 5.
Yeah, even though they won't get it soon, they won't be able to get this app that soon. It won't come out in Australia. I hope that Doom Patrol is good for them. And I would like to know more about them. I haven't read that much with Doom Patrol. They're going to get Swamp Thing, and Swamp Thing, when he's written well, can be awesome. And I'm interested in the app, like I told you before. I need them to have a big library with back issues because I want to kind of do some research with old comics, and that might be my pull to get the app.
And also, one of your favorites is getting an animated series, right?
Okay. Well, this is going to be live action. So I like Justice Society of America. And I really love Jeff Johns' run, and this is legacy character. You have Star Spangled Kid, he died, and then Jeff Johns he kind of tailor-made this character after his little sister who died. Her name is Courtney Whitmore, and she's going to have her own television show, Star Spangled Girl or Star Girl. So I really like that character because she respects the people who came before her, and she really wears that Justice League mentality. It's more of a like Justice League is like we're just a group of people that get together, but we're not going to hang out. Right. Justice Society of America, it feels like with the first family with Fantastic Four, this is a family, and Stargirl's going to get on a TV show on that app. I hope it's good.
I'm getting it. I'm thinking about doing the 1 year subscription because if you do that, you get like an extra 2 or 3 months, so it'll be even less than what the $6.95, $7.95 per month, whatever. As we cut the cord collectively as a society, it seems like everyone under the sun wants to have their own app. However, I think what sets DC apart is they haven't been doing a great job like Marvel Unlimited. They haven't really had that award-winning app where you can get all their comics for a good price. Now they have the opportunity to do that. However, they keep using buzzwords like rotating and select as far as comics. So don't
essentials.
So don't think that you're going to be able to immediately go there and download like all million comics that they've ever printed. Mm-hmm. But what would be smart about that, let's say that the Flash movie's about to come out, you release all the Flash comics for, the next 2 months or whatever. I think if they keep people informed about what's available and what's going to come out, it'll end up being very well for them. Two of the other shows that we hadn't mentioned yet, Harley Quinn getting an animated series.
Oh,
so that could be very interesting.
And one more thing, the thing that's probably going to bring people to this app that people have been craving for like 9 years, Young Justice, season 3. So.
Young Justice, and it's already got a subtitle and all that. So we'll have to see, like you said, when Swamp Thing's done well, that's an awesome character. It's just, with everyone cutting the cord all the time, it's like if you keep adding all these apps back to the point where you're paying just as much as you were for cable, so they're going to have to make it worth it in the long term. And I hope that Titans gets off to a strong start because, like I said, episode 5 is entitled Doom Patrol, and then it's rumored, like after that season's over, that there's going to be an actual Doom Patrol live-action show as well. But you have to worry about fatiguing people. I think one thing that helps it is people have such a passion for Batman the Animated Series and Wonder Woman 77 live-action with Linda Carter that they're going to have access to those shows, which will be interesting because there's going to be a generation of kids who haven't seen those shows yet.
That's true.
Yeah.
So they're going to freak out. And people that haven't seen them in 20 or 30 years, it's going to be good for that too. But I think it comes down, as far as it being worth, that money, comes down to what is their comic selection going to be like.
Okay.
Agreed.
You want to take us out of here?
I am. All right, so we have been Jen.
I'm Ashford.
Mark.
And this has been Nerd News Now.
Yeah.
See y'all next time.